Hello students, this is a review for the final exam, Management 205, Fall 2020. I'm going to start with Chapter 10, Managing Teams. Now, what you need to concentrate on in this chapter is first, what is a team? It's two or more people working toward a common goal. And second, the advantages and disadvantages of teams. Make sure you cover groupthink. You also need to know the stages of team development. That is the meat of what you need to know about this chapter. But for each stage, you should be familiar with what goes on. For example, where would the conflict and in storming, so on and so forth. You should also be familiar with the term social loafing. Okay, what is a virtual team? One that works via the internet. We're going to move from there to Chapter 11, Managing Human Resource Systems. First, first of all, what are human resources? And you want to be familiar with the laws regarding personnel in HR. So you should be familiar with EEOC and the 80-20 rule. You also want to know the different types of sexual harassment, quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Also, what is a bona fide occupational qualification? You should know what is a job analysis, what goes in the job specification and a job description. You should also know the basic steps in the human resource management process. Let's see if there's anything else. Different ways employees are separated. And I'm going to leave it at that and move to Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is a rich chapter, meaning there's a little bit more here than on some chapters. In reality, this chapter you just need to be familiar with the various theories, starting with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the Hawthorne studies, for sure, and the Hawthorne effect, McClellan's learned need theories, equity theory, for sure, expectancy theory, for sure, and the components of it, reinforcement theory, goal setting theory, and management by objectives. One more thing, the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Chapter 14 is the chapter on leadership. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, we didn't include Chapter 12. It will not be included on the exam. Chapter 14 is leadership. So first of all, you need to know what leadership is, or leading, right? Influencing others to work toward a common goal. This chapter is really about situational leadership, and you should be familiar with that term. What is trait theory? Fiedler's contingency theory. Now, the theories in this chapter are all situational leadership theories. However, there are certain things that sort of distinguish one from the other. So, Fiedler's contingency theory. This is the one that includes the least preferred coworker scale. And it's also the one that says leaders can't change and need to be in a situation that fits their style. Path Goals Theory states that leaders can increase subordinate satisfaction and performance by clarifying and clearing the path to goals and by increasing the number and kinds of rewards available for goal attainment. Now, this theory believes that leaders can change. The 4 leadership styles in Path Goal Theory are directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented. You want to be familiar with, when to apply the particular approach. Normative decision theory, also known as Vroom, Yet, and Jago model, helps leaders decide how much employee participation should be used when making decisions. The normative decision theory specifies 5 different decision styles: autocratic, all the way through consultative. You should be familiar with that and be able to recognize what we mean by autocratic and what we mean by consultative. Visionary or visionary leadership, also charismatic or transformational. You should be familiar with the overview, strategic leadership, the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and work with others to initiate change. An important thing from this chapter is to be able to distinguish the way leaders operate as opposed to managers. Also, the different sources of power: position power, expert power, coercive power, reward power. Okay, I'm going to move from here to talk about communication, chapter 15. You should be familiar with the communication model. The process that starts with the sender, encoding, a message over a medium, decoding, receiver, and feedback. Now, you should be able to explain each of those parts of the model and understand how perception is used to organize, interpret, and retain information. Also, in terms of organizational communication, you should know the different types of formal communication: downward, upward, and horizontal. You should also be familiar with the grapevine, which is the informal communication network. Now, let's see. You should also be familiar with a few terms like jargon, kinetis, listening. Oh, and how to be a good listener. That's going to do it for this particular chapter. And remember, this is an overview, whether you want to emphasize most of your time. Chapter 16 is control. You need to understand what control is, what a standard is, what benchmarking is. Also, the different types of control: concurrent, concerted, objective, etc. You should also be familiar with the financial statements and how they help with financial control. You should know what zero-based budgeting is. Let's see, what else? We got balance sheet, income statement, cash flow analysis, are the statements you want to be familiar with. I think that's going to do it for Chapter 16. Chapter 17, Managing Information. You should know, first of all, the difference between data and information. Remember, information is data that has been organized to inform. This is not a rich chapter. It's only going to be a little bit from this. You should know what a MIS, or Management Information System, is. What else? Oh, the term data mining. What is a database? That's pretty much it. Now, in addition to what, also expert systems. I knew there was one other. Now, in addition to this, of course, you need to know some fundamental management concepts like the functions of management, planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, the levels of management, top, middle, and first line or supervisory, the skills that managers need, technical, conceptual, interpersonal. The exam is straightforward. It's easy. Review, get a good night's sleep, take the exam. Good luck, and have a great day.